Okay. Sorry. For some reason it was taking longer than normal to buffer. Alrighty. Tonight we're gonna give the 2 new INT supports a go. I mean, INT as it stands has all the love in the world, and they continue to get all the love in the world for whatever reason they seem to get all the love. So we're gonna see just how great that love is. Because right now you can set up a team that's just nothing but support. And yeah, it lost connection because I was waiting there for so long, so I don't blame it. I had it sitting on that screen for about an hour, so typically if you leave Dokkan running for about 30 minutes, it'll kick you off. And as I heavily requested, this stream was asked for maybe 40, 50 times yesterday, so I'll take pray for JX. There's a possibility of getting my account back tonight, so I believe that account was created with that in mind. Alrighty. With any hope, just, I guess the sheer amount of key that, not really key, but the amount of attack, defense bonuses, it just turns this team from a monster into a mega monster. I guess the biggest surprise, too, to me is them turning Buffku into a support card as well, because he's a great card, but he hasn't been useful in a long, long time, and especially creating him right when they created Kid Gohan. And now he actually has some incentive to get rolled for in the World Tournament. The only detriment to the team that may exist, if you want to call it a detriment, would probably be Kid Gohan. Just, I'm sure he'll have probably disappointing links just because he's not a Super Saiyan, but yeah. So having Buffku and Kid Gohan in the same turn, we're getting the attack and defense bonus from Gohan, and the attack and defense bonus from Goku, so that's 65% attack bonus right now. Not only that, Buffku gives you a +2 key, and Kid Gohan gives you +3. Kid Gohan obviously probably being the better because they made him the gacha unit, so he's +40 defense, +40 attack, and +3 key, while Buffku is +25 for each and +2 key. The funny thing is you don't really need the support, but you can use it. Can you use normal money to buy Dragon Stones in JP? Do you have to use... No, you can use normal money. Like if you... Okay, good example is if you're using PayPal, PayPal converts the money you're using to whatever currency you're going to be spending anywhere anyways. So there's not really a thing such as like, oh, I need to use yen or I need to use a US dollar. PayPal automatically converts any currency you're using. I believe Google Play does the same when you're using it. Also, we should take time to appreciate that the Buffku art went from pretty sweet to actually pretty damn cool. Like, I think Buffku's card art looks pretty cool. He's really flexing on you on the screen. He's just pointing out, just like, look, I've been working out. My god, look, this is so dumb. I don't think I've even been hit yet. And you know the funny thing is the only 2 100% units on this team are Kid Gohan and Buffku. Everyone else is just like normal. Like I think my Gogeta is beyond being max level only 2% through the dupe tree. It's kind of weird thinking about it. These guys don't need the support, but INT's just getting nothing but support units. I mean, I could throw even more support units on here if I wanted. I have Whis, I have Gohan, I have Buffku, but I could be using, like, Pandel if I wanted to. Or the original Super Saiyan Goku, the Change Orbs, but I've been finding the Orb Changers less and less needed in these kind of things. Because you have so much ki coming from everyone anyways. Like, I don't need the Orb being changed to help me when I'm going to ult every turn regardless. And Super Saiyan Goku lacks any sort of actual punch. He does have a stun chance, though, so... But in a fight like this, that doesn't mean anything, because Super Saiyan 4 Goku's immune to stuns, so... Thanks for following Tangy Tugboat 686 and Cursed Hadron 1. I think the optimal team setup you're looking for in terms of turn is if you can somehow manage to have Buffku and Kid Gohan and LR Gohan in the same turn with LR in the middle, and just Gohan's already an absurdly high attack ratio, getting buffed by 65% just pretty much means whatever you're hitting is about to probably melt into the sun. Super Vegito? Yeah, do Super Vegito over Masked Bardock. By a large margin, yes. Your Masked Saiyan is never going to really lead an optimal team, since he exists in the realm of the old 70% gods, and while he can use it for both, you'll have very few chances you can actually use your Masked Saiyan. While Super Vegito works very well in, like, his own team, super teams, Masked Bardock doesn't quite have the same kind of luck, sadly. Speaking of Goku Jr., I love him as well. That's kind of why he's here. Just, I really love the fact that they give you such a nice 100% free card like this. He just takes you to town. How you doing, ex-Diamond Killer? Look at this. This is just absurd. Like, you could probably do this without the support units already. I'm not even sure we've lost HP yet. And the funny thing is, this isn't even like an account where everyone's 100%. It's just a normal account. Actually, let's check out and see if Buffku actually had his ult changed or not. I doubt it, but if there's a small chance he does something cool, I want to check it out. Yeah, I just imagine probably just be... Like, Bandai likes to update the stats on these guys occasionally, but as to their abilities, it's just basic Kamehameha, basic Kamehameha. Also, when you're using Gogeta to naturally lower their attack and defense everywhere, that just sets them up to get hit even harder. And I have no idea when the World Tournament's coming for Global. As one just ended recently, I imagine you'll be waiting a good couple weeks. Probably closer to a month, honestly. As for JP, the fact that all of these World Tournament cards just got an update right now, the chances of the World Tournament coming to JP soon are more than likely very high. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a reason to have 12 different cards just randomly get an update like this. Which is surprising, as the last... Like, World Tournament wasn't that long ago, I don't think. I guess it's been close to a month. And maybe I wouldn't expect to see it soon, but it just... All these updates, I'm imagining like a couple weeks. It just seems like a good indicator. My favorite agility unit? It's interesting you ask. Like, those kind of questions kind of hard on the fly, because it's like I'm rocking with the super team, like an INT team, so then I have to think of all the INT cards, or the agility cards, and it's just kind of a hard question to answer, like, oh, this. Oh, wait, hold on. Alright, this is a great setup. So, Buffku and Gohan in the same turn with Gogeta in the middle. But... now there's no way to do it because Gogeta would have to hit first. Alright. Gogeta naturally being Gogeta will hit very hard. So with all these added stats to it, if you can break through oh dude, this would be so crazy if he one-shots Vegeta. I don't think so, but there's a chance he might. This defense stat still too high just because of the natural links that you need in these kind of events. Still not too bad, though, getting Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta down to 2 bars of health in a single turn. I've kind of really been thinking, I mean, with the addition of all these cards, and actually with the addition of INT Gogeta, I never thought about it at the time, but I think INT now officially surpasses Strength. I could run Strength to test it, but just from what I've seen, I don't think even Goku's synergy with the G-Team can surpass this kind of damage anymore. Like, this is just absurd what these guys do. No one even comes close. Like, Goku had the GT synergy going with him this whole time, and the fact that he had Strength Vegeta there. But now that INT has their very own Gogeta, Strength loses that edge. And not only that, INT gets a better Gogeta, so I honestly think that Strength probably been dethroned now. This would probably be the best team. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I haven't even healed a single time. This is the first item I've used in the hardest boss rush, and we're already on Cooler. Typically, the most difficult part of boss rush, the last one current, is the 2 Super Saiyan 4s at the start. You get through them, and the rest of them really aren't that tough. And that's because also the Super Saiyan 4s had all those gimmicks going for them, where you can stun them, and there's like 5 phases, and they're just nonsense. Most of the other ones coming on haven't been too bad. I'd say a tougher Dokkan Fest would have been Mass Saiyan, maybe Super 17, but not even him. Honestly, it's just kind of been like the Mass Saiyan and the 2 Super Saiyan 4s have had the more difficult fest, and that's because they've had gimmicks forcing you to do things in them. I like, too, how that was a Dokkan, so Gogeta's 4 million damage just got spread across the entire team and just wiped them out. Gohan's on the turn for both Gogeta and Gohan's hitting at max damage capable, so someone's probably about to experience a whole new level of pain. And yeah, if you're curious about when Global Tournament's coming, honestly, it's probably going to be a while, sadly. Especially, too, with them announcing Merge Zamasu and Trunks, like, that's going to be probably all the hype for the next few weeks. And about Strength Cell, that's actually kind of funny. I don't know what they're going to do with him, because Broly is everything Cell, like, should have been in at the time, I guess, but since they released Broly at a time that they should have released Cell, I have no idea where Cell fits in the picture anymore. It's a very, very confusing metric. Oh, and what just happened here actually kind of reminds me. Buffku is considered a Super Saiyan 1, not a Super Saiyan 2, since I guess it's never really announced what he is in the show, as it's like an Ascended Saiyan. But in the game, they consider Buff Goku to be a Super Saiyan 1, so you can use any Super Saiyan 1 Goku you want to raise his SA. And like the type thing you need for Cooler here is Super Saiyan 1 does additional damage to Cooler, so he has that active here as well. Yeah, as you see, he just did a 1.6 million crit to him. Buffku, while getting buffed, should not be doing anywhere near that kind of damage. And yeah, that's a fair point. By the time Global sees Super Saiyan, well, this is the last banner Global's going to get before the announcement of the 2-year event, so depending on how long Merge Zamasu and Trunks last, the Super Saiyan 4 should come shortly after. In Japan, they got Vegeta, but Global just got Vegeta recently, so I imagine they're on the horizon. While this team is super op, this still is Cooler at physical, so I'm going to reduce damage just slightly in case he decides to ult me 6 times and then spell doom for everybody. Rage... Wow, it's a good thing I used that damage reduction. My god, he might even still kill us through that. Woo! Maybe I should have used a little bit more damage reduction. I'll tell you about the Trunks thing here in a second. I just gotta make sure I don't get wiped off the map. Don't help me, bruh. I'm trying to show off a cool team, not be killed by a dude throwing blames at me. There we go. Okay, as for the Hero Trunks, or Rage Trunks, whatever you want to call him. I always call him Hero Trunks because he's the leader of the hero team, and he's basically Vegito Blue, just with 30% better stats, but 2 less ki. As for viability, he's weird on this team since he actually needs specific int orbs to do extra damage. Every int orb he collects, he does more damage, but if you're using LR Gohan on your team, LR Gohan also uses orbs and gets a percent from those orbs as well. So if you can find a way to like have it to where Int Trunks takes only int orbs, and then LR Gohan gets all the other orbs, he could still be pretty viable, but he's in a weird spot where all these supports like I'm using right now are just better in these teams just because you can keep amping people up more and more and more, rather than needing like these, I guess, hard to come by int orbs, because even when you have a ton of them, I've noticed he doesn't really do that much damage. Kind of really sucks. Which is the reverse, actually, of Merge Zamasu, who is a staple on Villain's teams, as him and Rose linked like butt buddies, and they turned Villain's team in Global into the best team in the game until the Super Saiyan 4s come out, so... And it also does feel like they're going to rush the banners, so like I really don't know how long either of those two are going to remain viable for. And also, Global should be having Boss Rush come out around the same time as well. When it came out the first time, I used Villains to beat it, as the Super Saiyan 4s didn't exist, but when the Super Saiyan 4s came out, then it became a lot more doable. And as for this being optimal int, I have no idea. This is just me testing out the Gohan and Buffku. See, the thing with Super Int right now, I guess what's nice about it is there are so many optimal ints. It's not like you have to use this card and this card. It's like 6 supports you can choose from. And since... like, Gogeta's actually kind of gettable. LR Gohan, not so much. So that's also the assumption that by some miracle you can get LR Gohan. But, like... to create the optimal super int, if you even want to call it that, it would be like Gohan, Gogeta, and this is where Hero Trunks and I get a little mixed, but I would still probably include Hero Trunks and optimal int for now, then possibly Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta, and then that leaves you 2 spots to fill in with support. Your sub-units, whatever you want to call them. And you have a lot of people to pick from. Please go on the block for that, because as he is an LR, his defensive stats are off the chart. If you actually had the choice between the support units, Gohan would be the best, just simply because the Kid Gohan is being marketed as the int support, so he gives the best support stats out of any current support. I mean, no one else is going to give you 40% attack and defense and plus 3 ki on the turn. I thought Super Int optimal with Gogeta, LR Gohan, Rage Trunks, Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta, Kid Gohan, and Buffku. That's pretty much... like, I can't say, yes, that is the optimal team, because there's ways you can make around it. There's no, like, this is the best team for Super Int right now. There's, like, 4 cards, and those were the 4 I mentioned first, and you mentioned them as well, but beyond those 4, you're just kind of, like, you're free to throw in whoever you want. There's almost, like, 6 units you can choose from. I mean, hell, you could even throw in this 100% Goku Jr. because he works so great in a team like this. Ooh, it's funny too. I'm not even using Hero Trunks or Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in this team. If I had been using both of those just for kicks, like, we would probably be done with this even faster. It just goes to show the merit of how absolutely overpowered this team is right now. Like, seriously, God help whatever's coming for super physical and or extreme tech, because it better be something amazing. This is turning into how Super Vegeta was back when Agility Mono was released, like, years back. Well, a year back. I don't even know why I healed there. We were still plenty fine. It's also interesting to see for the future, because with only 2 cards left before everybody has their lead of type, that will only leave like a specific, like 120% lead for like all heroes / villains. So like a rainbow type unit, sort of like how Merge Zamasu and Trunks are, and Vegeta Blue and Rose are for the 70% leaders. But, like, it's either going to be like a massive meta shift, or I don't even know what's coming, because they're kind of setting the precedent right now that Super Int's the way to go. And this team really isn't that hard to make. Most of these units are from the Weagle Dokkan I was using earlier, except for the Buffku and the Kid Gohan who are on here through the server. So in terms of like viability of creating a team, so people have to spend less money, and the fact that the less creates the best team in the game, like everyone would just flock to making a Super Int team. Because to make an optimal Super Strength team, you need very specific GT links that follow like a very precise order to create something. This, you don't need any of that crap. You could just make something sub that I'm doing and just blow through everything. It's great too. You're never out of key. Like, it's never a problem. What I might do, and I'm planning on doing, is if I can find a Kid Buu lead when I finish this, I'll do the same thing I'm doing for Super Int for Extreme Int, and we can see if like they're getting the same kind of luck that Super Int here is. I doubt it, but I want to see if Vegeta's going to actually help as much as I hope. But their problem, as always, is I have to hope a Kid Buu lead exists, or I can never try the teams. Finding a Super Int Gogeta lead? Oh, jeez. They're in abundance. Oh, that was easily missed. I could have just set Gogeta lead first, but he took even less damage, but that's alright. We're going so fast through this, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was expecting this to go well. I wasn't expecting me to, like, curb stomp them, though. And we got Dokkan again, so we'll probably one-shot Buffku. And probably even full heal from it. Almost in any team I've ever used. Currently in the final phase of Boss Rush, if you want to call it Boss Rush 5, I guess, whatever the proper term for it is. I've almost, in any team I've used, I've had to use at least 5 items, maybe 4. This is the first time I've used a single item, maybe 2, and the second one was by accident. And we're back to full again. There's 2 Boos left, and this is pretty much done. Ooh, got a little lucky here, because I may have to either block some of this, or hope that we do less damage, because this Boo's phase will ult me every turn. If I had the proper guy in this turn, he would die in this turn. So this would make item 3. Alright, so I'll use Usher. As with any of these teams, RNG is always in play no matter what you're doing, so sometimes, like right that, we may have lived, but it's not wise to take 3 automatic ults from the same guy and then hope that your less than subpar support units can survive, because their defensive stats won't be anything compared to what like Vegeta or Gohan is, so you just kind of gotta pray. So this Boo will be ended here. We'll be on the last form of Boo and then Daddy. I'm sorry, I missed quite a few subs apparently. I need to turn that sound up because for some reason I don't even hear it. Thanks for something, WWE, Spaz Ninja, Wild Tiger, Kanji, and Cax. Thanks for stopping by! And why am I running Buff Goku? Because, again, if... You know, it's funny when people ask me the question that's in the title. Why are you running Buff Goku? Well, he's a support unit, and the title says about INT support, so he's probably here because he's, using context glue. I imagine a support. I don't question why it happens, though. I remember the time I started a video saying, it was... who's the best extreme lead or something like that, or trying on an extreme lead, and then someone comes into the chat and asks, what team are you using? It's like, they had to click on this video to get here, so why would they ask me what team I'm using? Are they just using like an auto clicker? Like, click on the nearest YouTube video, don't even look, close your eyes. There's probably game right here. And if legitimately serious, Buffku's on the team for exactly the reason that's about to happen here. By the way, I noticed too that LR Gohan only took 80,000 damage from INT Kid Boo's ultimate. That's through his LR stats and his defensive bonus from Buffku. He would have took him close to probably 200,000 to 100,000 without it. And he dead. Boom goes the goddamn dynamite. So I started the stream, waited like, I'd say like 5 minutes before the stream actually got active, so before I started going, that was cleared in about 25 minutes-ish. It's pretty good for what's considered the hardest thing in the game right now. Alright, like I said, I'll do one quick check to see if there's a Kid Buu here, and then we can try Extreme Int. If not, I'll probably just call it good and do something else. So the fun thing is there's going to be a ton of Buuhans, but will I find a single Kid Buu? And the people use the Buuhans because they still work with Gogeta, so you can get away with using them. Personally, I'd rather not, because it makes Extreme Int look weaker than it is if I'm using a less than subpar leader for— Hey, shit! Right on. I told you, I like refreshed like crazy earlier and could not find one for the life of me. Alright, so since the unit's not active right now, I have to reconnect this. It's the only way we'll be able to use Vegeta anyways. And if they're down, then we won't be able to try it at all. So that'll be that. Oh, nope, we're good. And for those asking, this is how I'm getting those units, like Gohan and Buffku, who aren't out yet, so I can test them early now rather than waiting to pull them in an hour. Or a day, or 3 days, whenever the hell they decide to come out. Oh yeah, this account's rank honestly isn't that great. Just because of the active JP experience, it's okay-ish, but this account was like level 1 a week and a half ago, so... Rank 250, 260 is not that great. I'd say a decent rate for someone who's been playing the game for a while right now would probably be anywhere between like 350 and 400, probably even higher. Just because the sheer amount of experience at that point it takes to create these. Servers are a little bit busier tonight too, because it seems like people are trying to log in and see stuff even though nothing new came out. It's just new stuff was announced, so everyone's losing their mind. Worst thing is we found a Kid Buu, now we have to find him again. This ensures that this game, okay, it's like just never wants you to see a Kid Buu. Alright, so I'd set up something similar to the Super as earlier. It's mostly extreme supports. Fundamental difference between the two teams might also be since INT for the longest time was all about being like very utility-wise. Extreme INT, I guess, is that in the same sense because Janemba here won't do that much damage, but he also won't take any damage. While Super INT doesn't have anybody who just blocks everything, but you don't need it when you just kill everything. It's like Goku will ult us here, and it probably won't even hit. Yeah, it's a 14,000 with a Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku ult. You know, in happenstance, that Vegeta ult there, that was pretty cool. Gohan's was Masenko, but Vegeta was his blow-up when he back when he was the Saiyan thing. I'm surprised they added that. But here again is the problem. You have to actually rely on the fact that Vegeta is on the turn with Kid Buu. And somehow we did not get that factor to go into our favor. With Turtles, you have almost 2 chances, but just every turn like this where you realistically have to rely on getting at least 6+ orbs that have Kid Buu to ult is just the worst. Because back when we fought the Gorilla with the Super INT team, he was dead in like a turn. And now he's dead, but that's after he attacked us close to 4 times. And then you have moments like this. You have all your support units in one go, and you're just gonna kind of eat all the damage we're gonna take. Janemba will help reduce it, but still, there's no need to take all this damage. Yeah, that's a pretty cool ult. I'll give him that one. It's much better than Gohan's right now. Alright, so we finally got a support to actually help Kid... I almost said Kid Gohan. There's too many kids right now. And even then, you get unlucky with the orb, and then boom. No ult again for him. You never see Gogeta or Gohan with this problem. It's just sadly Kid Buu. They gave him no key links, and you just gotta live with that goddamn annoyance. It did have the healing factor going for it for a while, but even now that's not really meaning that much, because Goku was dead already. It took us almost 3 turns to kill him, and we were almost dead in the process, so all that extra healing that was supposed to be a benefit is now only hindering me because it's taking that much longer to kill these guys. Go on. There's technically no stupid questions. The only stupid question is if you ask what stream this is, or like what's going on. Like, it's literally in the title. But beyond that, you're good to go. It's also kind of weird, like, the guy spamming chat right now, it's sort of the reason why Ichigo gets this reputation. I'm not sure if he understands that, but it doesn't really do anything except make his reputation worse, so kudos. Kind of realized by now that people get bad reputations like this for this exact reason. Sort of like a learning scenario. You figured they'd learn, but eventually, who knows? Ah, nothing happened. Just someone spamming chat. It's alright. It's the sacrifice we must pay. Alright, so this turn might not be so bad. I don't think I've seen a turn with Kid Gohan. I almost did it again. Kid Buu with Vegeta yet. I'm hoping to see it once, but can't be too harsh on Kid Buu, as he probably has a higher attack ratio than any of the 120% leads active, simply because of his passive. Probably one of the reasons they haven't given him a key lead, but if I can never have Vegeta on the turn to use it with, because we can take that high ratio and mix it in with Vegeta's plus 40%. You know, one change I'm thinking to a team, unlike the one I'm using right now, would be better, is you could probably exchange someone either like Cooler, maybe Janemba if you don't want the blocking, but then bring in someone like the updated Android 13 for some possible orb changing, because orb changers for this kind of team are very good still. There's been numerous turns now I've been unable to ult on the turn, and that's not good for these scenarios. Try to beat teams with un-Dokkan characters. I was about to say, well, that's technically impossible, but I guess with the setup I'm using, it's not impossible, as you do have Undoken characters. It's kind of a weird thing to ask, though, because Undoken characters, they're meant to be not that great. It's their Dokkan that's good, so I don't really think that's fundamentally a flaw. It's kind of how the game's set up to be. Like, you have this unit, he can be good, you just have to do this thing to make him good. And now that we finally have Vegeta on the team, I can actually see Kid Buu do some damage. Actually, it probably wasn't too bad. Either that was equalized or equal damage, and Kid Buu still hit him for 1.2 million. But Buhan's still wobbled. That's because of type disadvantage at 1.68 million. So their numbers aren't lacking. It just feels like everything else could still be done a lot easier. I'm kind of actually trying to time this slightly as well. I'm at 45 minutes, so this has been about 15 minutes in. And so far we're on Cooler, which would leave Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu left. The rate this is going, I'd say this would take about 10 to 20 minutes longer than with the Super INT team with the same caliber. You know, one of the biggest things I was mentioning earlier, that Super INT team I was using wasn't even full of like the top tiers characters you can get. This INT team is full of some of the best cards you can get right now. Like, back to the Super INT one, the only two Dokkan exclusive characters I was using were... Actually, the only Dokkan exclusive character I was using was Gogeta. But LR Gohan does... he would be rarer than a Dokkan exclusive, so I guess he'd be in a caliber of his own. And in this team, both you have Janemba, Buhan, Kid Buu are all Dokkan Plus exclusives, and that Cooler can only be awakened to that form with the Battlefield medals. And almost all the Battlefield units are pretty good, just because those damn medals are so hard to get as well. This Turles can only be awakened by the specialized Turles event that comes around every once in a while. So even this kind of team setup is much harder than making the Super INT team. For all that less work, you don't really get the payoff at all. Thanks for subbing Wild Tiger Coach, Spartan J, Devin Evans, and X Hunter X Sissy. If you subbed and I didn't say your name, just yell at me. I'm in kind of like analytic mode, if you want to call it that at this point, so I'm trying to watch the numbers and gauge them now so I know them for later, because trust me, the questions will be asked numerous times. Alright, now we'll see how Kid Buu fares on something he's got disadvantaged against. It's a decent crit. And with Vegeta on the team. Can't rely on the dodges though, sadly, so those are happening under strict RNG. It's best not to hope for those. And thanks for subbing Omar Orapias Cruz. And almost, I still, like, I'm thinking there's a possibility you could remove Turles from the team. If you take Turles off the team, you're getting that much less ki too that he just gives passively. He still has a nice stun, but then you're left with only Vegeta. Having Vegeta on the team is supposed to be it, so almost every turn you either have Turles/Vegeta on the team, allowing all of your INT characters to ult. And since you have two Kid Buus, the idea is that one of those two will be on his team every turn. But there's actually been a couple cases now that's not been the case. So thanks for following Tangy Tugboat 686 and the Cursed Aaron #1. I do have to, again, give a little credit, though, to what's happening right now. Because of all the ults Kid Buu keeps doing, we keep maintaining our HP. So that allowed us to go through that with relative ease, but I do believe Kid Buu dodged 2 of those ultimates, which could have done a fair amount of damage. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Now you have turtles on the team, so now you get that bump that you're missing before. And also thanks for subbing Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. It's very specific on who that is. I'm not really sure I like these philosophy changes that Bandai keeps going with, though. It just goes to show how strong one team is over another one. Because they should know just how good INT is right now, and there's no reason to be like, hey man, let's give them 2 more supports and fucking whatever else and all this amazing crap. Well, if you're trying to make any other type of team, you have to make it so specific that it needs to work every time for you, versus, just throw in there whatever you want, it'll go. That was one of the things about the newest Super Agility that made it okay. Like, you know, people love to be like, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's amazing and blah blah blah. Yeah, he is a card, he is pretty damn good, but making a Super Agility team that actually links correctly with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is just asinine, versus how easy it is with Goku. So I thought that kind of balanced them in that sense. Because Goku is the better team with the more work, while Vegeta is the easier team with the less greater result overall. Which now Super INT becomes the no work required, throw whatever you want in there, kill everything team. I wouldn't say no work required, but minimal effort required. Also, thanks for subbing Finto Tintos. Also, thanks for following Venom98. Alright, yeah. That's one thing I should start doing more. I'm putting Vegeta in the middle with, like, the age-old idea that it's a passive, so he needs to be the middle, but it's his actual passive, no matter where he's at. So he doesn't need to link with anybody. So you can have Buhan and Kid Buu, oh, yeah, there you go, and get even bigger numbers since those 2 are the only 2 that actually link properly. You know, the greatest thing too is I could go and like fix Kid Buu's problems right now. Just toss in Fear and Faith, or like Nightmare, boom, done. There we go, Bandai just made you a crap load of money and fixed your entire team. It's that easy. And thanks for subbing, Shannon Piper. And the theory on super teams that you just mentioned, that's like a whole other ballgame, because super and villain teams, they just naturally, because of the course of the units being released, will always be either super or villain, will overcome a strict monotype, because no matter what, they have to go into the 2. And the funny thing too is, the current super mono was the weirdest thing. It was Gogeta on there on his own because of his passive. Now they have INT Gogeta, boom, he's still on Super Mono, so you may as well never replace him. He just replaced himself. But I have to keep this like strictly on the mono colors themselves rather than like the best super and the best villain, since that's just too easy. 52 right now. Well, in terms of time, I guess it's not too bad. It's only be a few minutes behind, but... I haven't looked in a second. I'm gonna check my item usage. I think, at least Extreme in terms of items, I've used maybe one Senzu Bean, maybe something else. So it will have item usage down. So as with always, the utility team being the slower option, you also get it done better. So it's not strictly to say that this is just god-awful, because let's see. I haven't used a single item yet, so okay, yeah. So in terms of item usage, if you can get as lucky as I'm getting here with these hits, and all this constant ulting from Kid and keeping yourself alive, it will take you longer, but you'll practically be unscathed in the end. So that's a pretty good plus. Man, even the boo that should have caused me all the trouble just kind of just got wiped out. And we're still at full health. With any luck, we got the Dokkan going, we can end this right here. I'm almost tempted when... well, actually, Gohan and Vegeta are going to be on the same banner, so... Unlike the tech banner out right now, which, to be honest, came at such a weird time, as there really isn't anything... There's no extreme tech unit out, so Cell's is worthless. And Goku makes a very specific super team to make him great. But with the INT banner coming, like, I might actually put more stones into that than I do in a Dokkan Fest just to get these two units, because damn. If I can make my current Kid Buu team this good with him alone, and my Super INT team even better as I was shown, then hell yeah. And I already have Buffku, so all I do is Dokkan him. For once, this will be a banner worth the time. And also, if they do it like if they've been currently doing it, we'll get 2 old guys with every multi, so... I am down. And then this should end it. Now he's stunned anyway, so yeah. Dunsies at full HP. Not a single item used. So Super did it faster, but INT did it unscathed, so I'll give him that credit at least. Now loading. Well, yeah, I know what the hype's for, but that's exactly what I mean, though. Like, fuck, dude. I'll do one more, and I'll actually do Tech Goku here to show you what I'm talking about. Because I was thinking to call it quits, but I mean, this has been a pretty fast stream, so I could probably do one more. It has to be a very, very specific setup. I'll just throw LR Gohan in here for Goku Gohan. But you'll see what I mean. Yeah, he's also very out of place in there. It just looks funny when it's just like, look at all these mighty Super Saiyans in Tien. And Over in the Flash, be damned or not. I mean, that's just, it doesn't matter, because Over the Flash is a good link for the people who need it, yes. But when you have 2 teams like the INT ones, both Super and Extreme, who just rocketed through all that crap without any effort at all, that one specific link isn't going to really change anything, because tech never really struggled from lack of links anyways. It's going to just be the same thing. And there's also a reason too, like I'll go through this and a Super Saiyan 3 Goku will almost be as hard to find as Boo, because you see plenty of Gogetas, you see Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegetas. It's just the same people every time, and because it's a natural thing. People kind of feel like this is the best team, so they start using that team. Some of it also comes from the fact that they can never find the lead they want, but there's one Goku on Dokkan. We passed maybe 6 Gogetas already, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plenty more Super Saiyan 4 Gokus. I mean, hell, we just found the Gotenks before Goku. There's another Vegeta. Vegeta's for days. Notice how we haven't found a Rose yet in a while either. Another Undoken Goku. Alright, there you go. Took 3 refreshes and we found one guy. This is around the same HP that the Extreme INT had, so... I'm not sure if this really bugs me, but one thing about Super INT, I almost called it Extreme INT, is Gotenks you always have to play with. You need to like have them always be at that specific key. Which can be an advantage though if you're like lacking. Like if you can't get the max key, you know Gotenks will at least ult at 10. And interesting enough, a 100% dupe tree Super Saiyan 3 Goku couldn't kill this type advantage Goku in one hit. But I'll see. Maybe there's going to be something to this that makes them shine more of Tien than not. It's also through the natural, progression of time. The unfortunate D is the fact that LR Goku is already experiencing power creep, so the LR in his name isn't really quite shining for him as it once was, as LR Goku was released when Gogeta the original was the only Omega god out at the time. They could do with, like, I know he's been Dokkaned into a Dokkan, they could Dokkan him like a 4th time. And I had to do Vegeta already because I'm using a server that allowed me to have him. Alright, that's actually perfect. So Tien's on the turn with Goku and Gotenks. So we'll have Goku and Gotenks hit against this Goku. That's actually... I'll give Tien this. That's a hell of a defensive stat. There's no way I can have Gotenks hit his ult that allows him to lower his defense, since no matter what I do, he'll be at max. So we'll have Gotenks hit first, intercept the damage, Goku hit second, and then Tien hit last. Since this is the optimal team you want for the turn, we can hope that this will almost kill Goku or get him close enough to dead. If not, then that's sort of the reason why Tien isn't really worth shit anyways. It's like you don't need Over in the Flash for this turn to begin with. Like, these two would ult being on the same turn regardless, and they're the strongest in your tech team. Oh, they actually have it from the show. Okay. Tien does get props for that. They gave him the thing where he just kept smacking Snell down to the ground. I mean, it was pretty obvious that's where the scenario was from the banner, but actually seeing him do that in ult form, that was pretty cool. Man, rip this turn, jeez. My poor Tekkenites. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they'll be okay. Yeah, we'll be fine. Oh, no, I'm not taking it out of you said that context. I'm just saying this is why Tian's not really worth the time. Like, why roll for Tian now when you can roll for a banner that's actually coming with 2 good support units rather than 1 support unit you can use, 1 you have no idea if the extreme leader is going to be good or not. There's just no reason to roll in that tech banner. Unless you really, really want tech units, there's just not much of a reason to do it. That's also true too, since it's just strictly support units, you're rolling for a specific type, and with how stones are limited are in this game, you really have to kind of like wait for the banner that you really, really want. And I don't think I really saw that much hype and, you know, oh man, Tian's here and Perfect Cell's here, but now that the INT one was announced, it's been talked about non-stop all day. I do like this ult, though. That kind of logic saying he's good for a sub-unit. Every support unit in the game that's been released on the banner is good for a support unit. They're created for that exact reason. We now have this. When these 2 come out, we'll have 6 units now in total. We'll have Ultimate, Sword Gohan, whatever you want to call him, Super Boo, Imperfect Cell, Tien, Kid Gohan, and Vegeta. So with those 6 units, their literal definition should be sub-unit, because you would use them on any team as a sub, without a doubt. Oh, thanks for subbing Femtoes, Tentoes, Shannon Piper, and Cameron Crofton. Femtoes, Tentoes. What in the world? They call me Femtoes, Tentoes. This name was given to me at birth by my mother. The nice thing is we should at least clean Vegeta's clock pretty fast. Yeah. Didn't really see him living through that. And thanks for subbing, Big Boss 12363 and DBZ Dokkan 89. Well, at least I know who that guy's going for. If I can only find a single block, I might be able to try. Okay. So Gotenks' original will lower the defense, but only do about extreme damage. Goku himself will then hit for harder. And its weird thing is the animation for this should show all of Gotenks' ghosts attacking at once, rather than clapping and blowing up. Yep. Because his ultimate will have 2 ghosts blow up on each other. Which now will lower the defense of the guy. If these guys weren't like sub-units on this mark, I'd be able to see how much damage Goku could do with that. While Gotenks' Boo Boo Volleyball will hit harder than anything. I've been always requested to try this Goku I'm using on the 3rd sub slot, because he is pretty good. It's just, this is one of the main reasons I hate him so much, is he has to be in that exact spot every time for his very specific passive to activate. And thanks for subbing, Gallon Hina. You know, speaking of Super, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm almost 100% sure with the rate that we're going on Super, we're about to start seeing, like, it almost appears to me, like, with the meta getting close to being ending. You know how they did it with Rose and Zamasu? That's going to be what's going to be happening, is like the next meta thing's going to be like all these new Super characters that are all popping in everywhere. It's the easiest way for Bandai to work around this, too, because it's like, we're running out of ideas, slash running out of characters to use, slash things are getting stale. The best way to cause, like, a massive revival when you need it the most is, boom, all the new Super characters, basically. So let's say, like, female Broly, for instance, words. Like, all they have to do is announce her for one thing, and we'll have everybody losing their mind. The same way they do with just normal Broly. They have, like, this giant ammunition pile in their stock that they're just waiting to throw at you. You know, funnily enough, the reason they did that too is they tried it once, but they didn't think that Super was that popular. It's why, if you remember when the Universe 6 characters released, they were all terrible, except for maybe the farmable cabbage, whatever you want to call him. He was okay. But Hit was god-awful, and every card in that thing was god-awful. The only thing that nice came out of it was Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. But honestly, it seemed like it stemmed from the fact that Bandai thought people didn't like Dragon Ball Super characters, so they tried to just make them all garbage except for Goku. Also, thanks for following Will Steiner. There we go, got some boo-boo volleyball going on, some big damage, big numbers. Hey, 1 million. If Bandai ever goes back and revamps everyone's old SA at some point, I would probably give them money just to do that. I could pray, I really do. It would really help this game out at times, rather than seeing the same generic ults on everybody except for the mostly newer things, because, you know, with Tien here, that shows they can do it. And the funny thing is even LR Goku suffers from it, even his max super attack isn't anything that special. Again, his first two here is just a normal, like, Kamehameha. But, like, even the mostly newer LR cards are all different. Like, the androids are still, like, a double-town beatdown. And Frieza has everyone beating the crap out of you. And 11. Alright. Also, one thing I should probably make a little clearer too, except for the Super INT team I used at the beginning, most of the characters I'm using right now are mostly all 100%, so it's not going to be as smooth as you're seeing it right now. A lot of these characters are kind of getting away with what they're doing because of their inflated stats, basically. I'd say you see mostly the same results, but don't be expecting, like, you know, dodge after dodge after dodge after, oh man, lucky save. Just expect kind of like normalized damage, things more like this, rather than like I got saved by dodge because I highly doubt most people with their dupes are going to be spending their dupes on the bottom left tree, except for very specific characters. I did not get this for Rinzy's APK. I wish. But I mean, if you're gonna use Rinzy's APK, I mean, there's no reason to even use a team. Just use instant win and you just win. I'm putting like a bet down when Global pops that maybe 70% of the people doing boss rush for the first time will probably instant win it. Because I know people are gonna want those stones. And it'll be interesting to see how many people can actually legitimately beat it without using instant win. Also, remember too, the one coming to Global is not this current one, so it's not just like these 5 fights. The one coming to Global, the last match, will have all 5 of the demigods, all 5 of the gods, and the 4 current fights. So you use 14 fights. This one's only 5 because it's the 5 current 120% leads. In terms of Goku using everyone else's move, well, yeah, I guess. Well, he mimicked Roshi using it in like the 2nd episode in Dragon Ball, I guess. Yeah. The instant Kamehameha is kind of his thing. I mean, if you consider the Kamehameha mimic move, nobody else can use the instant transmission, so only he's been able to do that one. But I mean, most people kind of use their own mimic things anyways. Like, Yamcha had the Wolfang Fist. That was his own little deal. Krillin, I had his Destructo Disc. I don't even know what you call Chaozu, because Chaozu and Tien both use the Dodon Ray. The INT team I disbanded for this one, the enemy one or the super one? And yeah, you do have to give them rainbow orbs, but at the same time, it doesn't matter, because you're never going to have your entire map be rainbow orbs, and if you can find a couple, it's whatever. That's something with Goku I never even look for. It's just kind of a worthless passive. It's like I found a way to get maybe, even here, I can have 2 or 1. It's like, great. And yeah, I can show you the super team. And the instant win thing I'm talking about in Boss Rush is one of Rinzy's APKs is just instant win. It's what it says. You go into the match and the enemy just dies. I'm actually surprised people don't know that it exists, because that mod has been available and talked about for nearly 2 years now. In fact, in my description of this very own video, there should be a link to DBZ space, and it's just under mods and APKs. Last I remember, I believe he offers instant win, like high attack, high defense, and like dice rolling. I don't remember. But the whole point was when Boss Rush came out, it's just There is a large group of people who used it to win just to get the stones and call it good because they were tired of dying on it. Thanks for subbing, Kevin Hibbert. One good thing, though, is it doesn't cost any stones to try. Sadly, though, it does use your items. Is there a way I can get the rainbows? Let's see if we can get Goku some rainbows, see if it really matters that much. We can get 2 rainbows here and 2 rainbows here. Zah. Really has a weird passive. If we're lucky that I'm landing a crit, we can kill Boo right now. Rip. And even without the crit, 2 rainbow orbs and max damage with Tien and Gotenks buffering him, he hit for about 200,000 more than Tien. Neat. Like, I don't want to just come out. I don't want to like come out outright and say it, but I always thought that this Super Saiyan 3 Goku was a bit overrated. And trust me, I used more stones trying to pull for him than any card in the game. And I highly regret it because it was not worth it. And I only say that under the assumption that most people can kind of make max level teams anyways. Because if he's the only card you got, he's still a good card and he's a great lead. It's just, when you're comparing the best of the best of the best, he's not that great. He's just good. And if you need further proof, again, just go check your friends list and go tell me how many Super Saiyan 3 Angel friends you find versus Vegito Blue or Gogeta or the 2 Super Saiyan 4s. One rainbow orb. Oh yeah. Holy, 6,000 on the basic attack. Uh-oh. We probably should have buffered that damage a bit. This could hurt. V ults once, and that was on Gotenks. That's going to be over 100,000 damage. 46,000 again, 45,000, 45,000. I don't think this Angel Goku can eat a single ult or we're done. 30, okay, there we go, it's lesser. You may survive 135,000, possibly. Nope. Yep. Ripperinis to that team. Anyways, that's not to show that tech's bad. We could have won that if we, like, used defensive items or whatever. But that's sort of my point again. Like, you don't really have to worry about that with anybody. Alright, and before I stop this, I'll show you the Super End thing from earlier. If we can get past the loading screen of death here. Come on, Bamco. I know it's 1 AM and Japan's alive, but let's go. Shouldn't take this long to load a team screen. Well, if you really need it, I'll just type it out to you, because I'm not going to wait for that forever. Anyways, we'll call the stream good there. But that was kind of the point. Like, the support team coming for INT, it's quite worth rolling for by a large margin. The one for tech right now, if you really want to, by all means, go for it. But I'd say just ignore that. Just let it look pretty for what it is at the moment. And if for some reason Extreme Tech League comes out and he turns out to be the best card in the entire game and like you didn't roll because I told you to at some point, feel free to come yell at me, whatever you need to do, because I'll take all blame at that point. But for now, I stand strong by that. The current tech thing not even worth the damn rolling for, but the INT one though, very much so. But as always, Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. And as the guy asking if you want to see the team, I will type it in chat for you. Until then, though, you'll have a good